Welcome to the GameSpot Show. On today's episode, Jordan Ramee talks about his review of Assassin's Creed Shadows, and Jake Dekker has been playing Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition.
Hey there, sir. $1. Thank you very much.
And now for your host, Kurt Indavina.
Whew, that's right. Welcome, folks. This is the GameSpot Show, coming to you live on the Power Block. Let me get that fake applause. That's right. You thought that was real last time, but joke's on you, and then one of these days it is going to be real. Speaking of what's fake and what's not, some of you may have noticed last week that some of you may have suggested that we weren't live. Well, I'm going to tell you that we may or may not have been. But to prove that we're live this time, I have it right here. See? I can see chat. I don't know if anybody's saying anything, but look, bam! Can't even see it from here. We're alive. We're coming at you. So for those of you who don't know, this is a GameSpot Show. This is a place where we talk about video games, previews, reviews, and all the most exciting things in the world, where we have our very own cool cats coming on to talk about those things. Like today, we got Jake Dekker talking about Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. Can't add any more syllables. They just need to just keep smashing them in there. The last of the Wii U trickle, is that a thing? The Wii U's trickling on over? But most importantly, right now, we're gonna talk about Assassin's Creed Shadows with its very own reviewer, Jordan Ramee. Hey, Jordan. Oh, wait, what? Hold on. I talked to Jordan. Oh, that was yesterday. Of course. I must go back into the Assassin's Creed ancestral fucking encyclopedia, wherever the Animist or whatever it's called, and talk to him from yesterday. I'm coming in for the anus a day before. I'm in the ancestral body of myself 24 hours earlier. Oh my God!
How is your pronunciation worse every time you've done it?
Well, it's what? It's anus?
It's animus.
Animus?
Animus.
Animus. Animosity. Towards the.
Do your bit.
Choose your favorite little thing, which is going. It's not going back in time. You're like entering your ancestors' memories.
Yeah.
So I'm entering my ancestral memory from yesterday. Now.
This is the version of you that's going to give birth to Kurt, who's going to grow into who I'm going to be talking to tomorrow.
In 24 hours?
Yes.
Hot damn, Kurt! Knocked it right out of the park, Buggy old Bell. Anyways, Jordan Ramee is here. We're talking about Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Yes.
What was the name of the
Were you about to give a different Assassin's Creed?
What was the name of the last one?
Mirage. And I was about to give the wrong one.
And what was before that?
Valhalla.
You sure? Yeah, you're right.
I'm pretty sure.
You are correct. You know your stuff. You've played every console Assassin's Creed game.
That is correct.
Have you finished all of them?
Yes. Well,
Jordan Ramee, you're the expert here for Assassin's Creed animosity syndrome. That is a thing, because you're here to talk about Assassin's Creed Shadows. You are the reviewer of that game for GameSpot. On the GameSpot Show, it's not always that we are able to sit down with the actual person who wrote the words and put down the number.
But I'm special.
You are special. You've played every Assassin's Creed game, and you know the name before the other one. Start from the top. I guess let's begin with, what did you give it? Mm-hmm. And then kind of give your one sentence sort of feeling about the game.
Okay. I gave it an 8 out of 10,
which
in GameSpot's rubric is a great, not a good, which is a 7, not a superb, which is a 9.
What's a 6?
That is fair.
That's fair. So you
just got these lined up, don't you?
No, I don't. It's because I'm coming in from the future.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, it is. I gave it an 8 out of 10 because this is probably the best that Assassin's Creed has felt for me, since it has done its transition to the more RPG-like style.
Which I understand is like the second. What do they split them up into like periods, right? Like, isn't this like when it became?
Yeah, I mean it's all weird and
Assassin's
messy
Creed?
now because they started in 2017 with Origins moving to the RPG, but the last one, Mirage, was technically closer to the old school style of So now they're kind of, it feels like they're going back and forth, but yeah.
And this one is your favorite of that?
Yes, that is correct.
And why is that?
It is, I think, the closest to get the balance right between the action and the stealth. In my mind, Assassin's Creed has always been about like the tent poles of stealth, action, and then hardcore parkour.
Hardcore parkour.
And the past few games, they've had the parkour, they've had the action, but the stealth just hasn't really been there. I've enjoyed them. I really like Odyssey. I like being a demigoddess as Cassandra, but I've always been kind of missing that stealth element. And playing as Naue, the shinobi protagonist in this one, you can go prone, which sounds weird to say, but they've
like,
never done that in a stealth Assassin's Creed game
like
before.
Full like lay down?
Full lying on the ground,
Taking out?
going through the dirt,
Okay.
going through the grass. You can latch on to the ceiling as guards kind of go underneath you. You can like throwing stars at lights to kind of blanket the space in darkness to make it harder for guards to see. They've done a lot more in this game that obviously a lot of other stealth games have done already, but they haven't done it in Assassin's Creed, which is why it's so important.
So I mean, why is that special though? Like, if they haven't done these things in Assassin's Creed games, but you've seen this style of stealth in other games, is it that you just haven't seen? Has another game not done the combination of what Assassin's Creed has like founded itself for? Big open worlds and
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that I never go and tell people. I'm like, oh, Assassin's Creed, everything it does, it's better than every other game out there. But I think the thing that it does well is it kind of takes these aspects of stealth, of parkour, of action, and does them at a fairly like good level where each one is pretty solid, not enough to stand on their own as a game, but they intermix together in a way that you don't really see in a lot of other franchises, which is why I think Assassin's Creed has managed to kind of exist for as long as it has.
And Shadows, I'm getting the feeling is like the best,
it's the best
of
mixture
of that
currently
stealth
of
thing.
that, yes.
Except that this game has two protagonists.
It does.
With two different gameplay styles. And here, if you were sitting here and you were just telling me like, this is I hear a game that you love for all those little things. But based on that little review of yours that I read, there's another part of this that doesn't quite hit the same as one character.
Yes.
So this game has two protagonists.
It does.
The other is Yasuke.
Yes.
Who does Yasuke's gameplay like match other Assassin's Creed games in the way that like Origins or Valhalla or any of that jazz does? That sigh, that.
I've gone so back and forth on this. Yasuke is the first protagonist that's an actual real person.
In Assassin's Creed?
In Assassin's Creed,
okay.
specifically. All the other protagonists have been people that Ubisoft has made up. And it's a version of an Assassin's Creed character where you stripped away the parkour aspects and you strip away the stealth aspects and you only focus on the combat aspects, which on its own is fine. It's fine, but it's not as good. It doesn't stand on its own all that well. So Yasuke, the character, he's great. Like the voice actor is superb. Mwah. Love him. Love listening to him just like pass down this sage wisdom to the people all around. Can you do an impression?
Can you sound like him?
Please don't make me try to be a voice actor.
Do your best.
For an African who's been adopted to Japan and thus has a mixture of two.
Well, now I have that context, so I'm not going to make you do that. But you know, I mean, I did make Jean-Luc do an impression of a character from Shadows of the Damned, and that went over really great.
So for who? For who did that go over really great?
Me. So I'm not going to make you do it. But you love him you love the voice acting, you love his ability to act without ever wanting to do better than him. So that's why you're not doing an impression. I understand. I understand.
Yes, thank you for...
But they nailed the character, but the gameplay not so much.
It's fine. Like, it works as intended. Like, I can see, like, oh, this is the vision that they had, and they succeeded at their vision. I just don't think it's a very good vision. Apologies to the developers who put.
It's almost like Yasuke is living in the shadows of another character in that game.
You've been waiting to drop that one.
No,
too?
I don't have anything planned.
What's on those note cards? Are those all puns that you've prepared for?
No, you want to see this card? I don't know how to spell the first character's name, so you probably can't see this. But it says like Nowif. Is that how you say the first character?
Naue?
Naue. We watched a video and I kept hearing Nowif. Naue?
Nowif?
That's what I heard. So I said intended protagonist, ? Because that's what you kind of wrote in your video.
I'm not going to speculate. I have an idea.
Conspiracy theory.
I have a conspiracy theory. I have a whole tin hat thing about what might have gone on in the upper echelons of Ubisoft that led to the double protagonist thing. I'm not going to go into it. I will say it really feels like Naue is just purely looking at the game of the intended protagonist. You start off with Yasuke, you play him for an hour, then you switch over to Naue.
You start with Yasuke first?
Yeah,
okay.
And then you play as Naue for a good 10, 12 hours before Yasuke even gets reintroduced back into the story. And there's just a lot of setup for her arc and her story. And Yasuke is primarily there to like help her with what she is trying to do. It really feels like she's the main character of this game.
So if you had to choose what character, not gameplay, what character you liked more?
Oh man.
Who would you choose?
Probably Yasuke.
What gameplay?
Gameplay is Naue.
Would you ever combine the two? Do you ever want to see that happen?
I was about to say something, probably shouldn't.
You want to see them together?
Yes, I do. I would have loved if Yasuke had played a little bit, I guess, more like the obvious ghost in the room, Jin Sakai from Ghost of Tsushima, who had like a little bit of samurai, a little bit of shinobi.
But that is a. I mean, I'm glad you mentioned that naturally and organically because it's like. It's impossible in a way to not make these comparisons, and Ghost of Tsushima in its own way is a very interesting attempt at kind of a similar, what I assume is like an Ubisoft style sort of like world where you like go and you to these places and you clear them out, wherever the hell it is you do in those games. But I mean, so you wish, but I mean, if you, while we're on the topic of open world, you kind of talk about the approach to the open world in this one is different. In what ways? Like, why is it special to someone who's played every single damn Assassin's Creed game?
You make it sound like a bad thing. Which camera is the audience? Is it this
the red one,
the red one? Listen here. It's okay to be an Assassin's Creed sicko. I am a proud Assassin's Creed sicko, and it's totally fine to be...
Number 3.
Are you switching them on me? How dare you? Let me talk to the people. Let me get my message out. But yeah, I've enjoyed all of them in their own right.
But the open world in this one.
But
bring it back down.
Yeah, they introduced a weather system in this one that kind of changes how the gameplay, how you can approach different aspects of the gameplay. A pond that is completely unfrozen in spring and summer provides an opportunity for like Naue to go underwater and take out like a reed and like breathe underwater and like slowly snake her way over to a target. But in the winter, when it's snowing, that pond might be completely frozen over. So
it changes the dynamic of
like you can't go underwater. If you try to run across it, Naue and Yasuke, they kind of slip a little bit and lose their balance. Yasuke a little bit more than
Is it cartoonish?
Naue. It is pretty cartoonish.
That's all I really
and like guards behave a little bit differently. They tend to huddle up a little bit more and go inside a little bit more when it's really cold outside. If it's raining and there's thunder and lightning, it's a little bit more difficult for people to hear Yasuke and Naue, so Yasuke can actually stealth a little bit in that scenario. Meanwhile, if it's like snowing really hard and there's a blizzard, it's really hard for you to see people unless you're playing as Naue and use her eagle vision, which is...
Eagle vision?
It's been in the franchise since the first one.
Is
Allows
this
you
like
to
a
basically
part of the anus animus? Is that something they could use?
that's what they basically turned it into for the RPGs. They brought it back to the earlier concept where it's long story short, there are some people who are born with godlike abilities and bloodlines. Those who have an innate ability where they can instinctively know whether someone is like allied with them or not allied with them, which if you focus your mind, the people who are not with you kind of glow red and the people who are with you glow blue. Have you played the Arkham Asylum games and seen
Those are
Assassin's Creed's Batman
okay, got
vision
it.
thing.
Yeah. Got it. So but does Yasuke not?
Yasuke does not have it, only Naoe does. So during like a blizzard, during a snowstorm, your vision's really low, which means the enemies have a hard time seeing you, but you can't really see them unless you're playing as Naoe, and then you use eagle vision, and then you can kind of see them through the snow and the bad weather and whatnot.
By the way, I'm not trying to antagonize you about Assassin's Creed.
Really?
And then how much you love. It's just who I am. It's just how I come off. I mean, I would if I was sitting on this sofa, if we were ancestors and my ancestor self was in you, I would still be treating me. You know, I'd still be like, look at you playing all those Assassin's Creed games. Look, I've played every Resident Evil game under the sun, including the spin-offs and like the mobile ones. So we can switch seats, and you could be like, you sick son of a bitch. What ones you've reviewed? Do you review Mirage?
Yes, I reviewed both Mirage and Valhalla for GameSpot.
And you know, like as we kind of come to, you know, like you've done a good job of at least making it clear to me how these protagonists work, what they do, what they don't do so well. That Yasuke is a cool, sweet-voiced, buttery-voiced dude who you like more as a character than the other, but then one has better kind of mechanics. The one that feeds into the stealth thing that you have. You
the stealth thing?
Yeah, we should have you go prone on this floor and try and see if you can sneak up on me afterwards.
Of course.
But I mean, like, if you were to conclude your sort of like your pitch to someone about this game, like, you know, really like, I guess like your review in a word, in a thing, like the things you love, the things you didn't, and like what you kind of hope, like what does this mean for the future of the franchise?
In a word, approachable. This is the most approachable Assassin's Creed game that we've gotten in a while, both in terms of the gameplay feels good. So if you've never played one of these games before, you can have an understanding of why the people like these games, or if you end up not liking it, then you'll understand why some people don't like these games, and they're wrong, but that's fine. They can have their opinion. But at the same time, this game takes like a very large step back from a lot of the really, that I in my sick brain love, lore that kind of like has really expanded out, because this is the period of Japan where they're exiting isolationism. So like even all the conflicts from the other games, like they just have not touched Japan. A lot of the history and stuff from the other games have not really touched Japan as of this moment. So this is the game that kind of feels like it's a little bit separate from the others. So approachable. If you're a little bit worried about trying an Assassin's Creed game, this might be the one to try.
Do you think they should continue to have multiple playable protagonists going forward?
No! Why do they keep doing that? I'm so annoyed that they keep doing that. They've been doing it since, 2015 with AC Syndicate? And Jacob was awful. They should have just focused it on Evie. I'm so mad about the dual protagonists.
The duality of you being like, it's an approachable game. If you're a little off guard and you just want to play it, you should try it. What are they thinking?
I've been so angry about this for so long.
Well, that brings this segment to a conclusion. However, we do a little thing on the GameSpot show called the GameSpot Powerboard ranking system, something or another that might change tomorrow or the next week, where we now give you the opportunity. Get up. We're going to move over here.
All right.
We're going to rank this game among the other games this year. And here we are. Okay, so these are all the games this year. This one is on the side because I think it was a review in progress, but I don't know if it still is.
It is a review in progress. Jess Howard is on it, and it released only part 1, and we're gonna finish it.
So that's why it's over here. So now, I need to write down this game, actually. How would you, so what we're gonna do is basically you have to rank where Assassin's Creed Shadows goes in this list, and it could only, like...
And I can't change, like, the order of the
You
list.
could only put it in between somewhere. You think about that.
Oh, this has, like, Tam and Lucy's influence all over it. Like, just...
So now, this one's called Assassin's Creed. Oh, God, why is this so long? I'm not going to fit
You
this.
should have just done, like, AC Shadows.
All right, smarty pants. Okay. You have to take that. Mm-hmm. And where is it going to go?
All right,
where
so this, I assume this is going from, like, best down. So it's
Correct.
going Split Fiction, Monster Hunter Wilds, Like a Dragon, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Cabernet, Avowed. Oh, whoever did this, thank you so much. I don't know who that was, but thank you.
I actually fought for this. I have not played it.
Hell yeah.
I just know that it was...
This is a great game, and you should all play it.
I just know that you gave it a 9. I was like, well, you know, I think Tam
Dynasty
got it.
Warriors Origins, Eternal Strands, Immersive, and Sniper Elite Resistance. Okay, I don't think it breaks this 4. This is a very strong... Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is going to be, like, holding the line on this for a lot of 2025.
So that means you have to fight with Cabernet.
Yeah, another game that I reviewed.
Ooh, where do you want it?
I am going to put Assassin's Creed Shadows. Oh man, I really enjoy Cabernet, but Assassin's Creed Shadows is pretty freaking good.
Instincts, intuition.
I'm gonna put it above Cabernet.
That's it, you're done.
I already hate myself for doing this. Why do you make me do this?
Well, it's not over yet because we have a surprise for you. Because now I want you.
Oh my god.
I want you to rank all these Assassin's Creed games on this side.
Revelations, 3, Black Flag, Rogue, Unity, Syndicate, Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla, Mirage, and Shadows. Okay.
Do this as fast as you can.
All right.
Up here, starting up here. Top
Starting
one.
up here?
Yep, top one up here.
I'm gonna make so many people angry.
Put it up. Go.
Syndicate, Odyssey, because Cassandra makes this entire game.
Come on. Oh, okay. Down that way, so now you have to fill that gap. Mamma mia.
Christ.
You can do it. You're moving
Black
fast.
Flag. The parkour in this is great, but the story is awful. Origins. And the story in this one is great, but the game isn't all that good. So how do you even make that distinction? Okay, you know what? We're gonna do Revelations, and then I'm gonna do Unity.
I'm really proud of
I'm
you.
gonna do Rogue and
Why is 3 important?
3 is important because it was the first game to be like, you know, the assassins aren't good all the time. Sometimes a little control is a good thing because they establish it's like, oh yeah, if you gave the American colonists what they wanted, the freedom to do what they do, they decide to enslave black people and take the land of Native Americans.
That's a really good sell in that game.
I'm sorry, Valhalla. I probably, with more time, would have put you higher. But
wow, one is not that good?
No,
or at least, not
it's
the
one of those where it's like, oh, it set the stage for everything, but it's also the oldest game. Like,
Yeah.
mechanically, it's the weakest
And there we are.
of all of them.
Jordan.
I
really
hate
proud
you
of
so
you.
much.
Oh, it's an honor. It's such an honor. All right, now I'm going to escape from this apparel of my ancestry and goodbye. So long. Oh my God!
You've been passed out. You were drooling.
It's
You
yeah.
might still be
well,
drooling.
Well, I can't tell if I was just taking a nap during that not pre-recorded segment, or if I was born again ancestral Kurt being Jake.
How's it going? Do you need your cards? You just threw them everywhere.
No, I don't need them. Not for this segment. I'm gonna just you're
throw 'em
yeah.
around.
I mean, kind of like what they do with certain Wii U games. They just keep throwing
them out.
until they land on the Switch. Are there any Wii U games left? Zelda, the Twilight Princess, Wind Waker HD.
The remakes. People really want those remakes of Wind Waker and Twilight Princess.
that's-
There's probably other exclusive Wii U games that haven't made it.
Did that
I'm trying to think what else.
the hero, the little heroes that you draw into shapes and they. Oh, Wonderful 101, is that the game?
Oh,
Wonderful 101.
I think that is on
Did that
Switch.
make
it is.
Well,
Well, the last game we think
is
Xenoblade Chronicles X, definitive edition.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
a game that I didn't think we'd see again.
Why?
It's so weird. Like it's kind of like the black sheep of the Xenoblade Chronicles series in a weird way.
What one is it in the order?
It's the second one.
Oh.
So they released Xenoblade Chronicles in 2010, I think, which also has a really weird history. 'cause
and that was
wasn't
the
supposed to come to
Wii
the United States.
GameStop one,
Yes,
right?
that GameStop funded to bring here or some shit.
Yeah.
And then there was Xenoblade Chronicles X, which came 5 years after. And
For the Wii U.
For the Wii U, which I don't think a lot of people played.
Probably because it was on the Wii U.
Probably because it was on the Wii U. Also because it's weird. I mean, I'll get into why it's weird in a bit.
Okay.
And then 2 years later was Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which is not necessarily, I mean, it is, the lore's weird. It is way more of a sequel to 1 than.
Well, it is called Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Yeah. And then
So,
3.
Oh,
and
there's a third
there's
one?
a third one that came out 2 years ago, or 3 years ago. And all those fit together in a convoluted, kind of fun way.
Okay.
But then there's X. And X, people have fan theories of how that fits together. And I think
Do you have
maybe-
your own theory?
No, I don't. I didn't think that hard about it because I didn't play it originally.
Okay, so you've played all the others.
I've played all the mainline ones
Except
I
for
guess.
X.
Except for X.
So this is your first time with X.
This is my first time with X.
So you're a fresh baby faced.
Yeah.
Are there two protagonists?
There's a lot of protagonists actually.
So
But okay, but one of the weird things about not weird, it's so I don't want to keep saying it's weird, but it's just very different
you could
from
say
the other
it's
games.
Xenoblade Chronicle weird.
But you create your own character. So you
Okay.
start the game, you create your own character. I don't think your character really has a voice. If they do, it's just like grunts and stuff like that.
Can you do it?
No, I'm not falling for this.
Damn, why?
This is all you do. You just show up and get
Yeah,
some
can you do impressions of it? Like, come on, just do one.
No,
That was good.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
What was it? Yeah, because
Create your own character. They don't really speak.
There's also like
grunt.
50 different. I don't think there's a 50, but there's a ton of different party members that you can add to your team, and you can swap between them.
Okay.
You can. I think you can only have a party of 4, but you can switch between that 4, and then you can change your character so you can play as different people in your party.
I don't think I asked the most obvious question.
What is it?
Also, well, yeah, okay, what is it? And then I have another obvious question.
No. What's your obvious?
Well, I mean, how is this different from the other ones? Like, why is this not a mainline one? How is this not a mainline one?
Okay, well, so that's one thing. You create your own character. I guess in Xenoblade Chronicles 3, there are a lot of characters that kind of are part of your extended party. It is structured more like a MMO, I guess.
Okay.
So for those familiar with the Xenoblade Chronicles game, the combat feels very MMO. There's a lot of cooldown meters, and you're like queuing up moves, not necessarily queuing up moves, but you're like,
Is it like a rotation of moves?
it's a
sort of deal?
rotation
Yeah,
of
okay.
moves. So it's like, okay, you want to hit them with I think break and then topple, and then these are like different categories of attacks that like can knock enemies over, do a lot of damage. But the way it actually plays moment to moment feels very MMO sort of style combat. But
Which is different from the others.
all of them play like this.
Okay, all right, okay.
The difference is that 1, 2, and 3 feel more like a traditional RPG, in that you're going through a story, you're completing missions, while X is you do a lot of grinding between the story. So you go out and explore the world, which is huge. The world is gorgeous. It looks great still, you know, after almost 10 years. Jesus, oh my God. Peter Brown reviewed it originally, gave it an 8 out of 10 back in 2015.
Wow, Jesus Christ. Yeah, okay, wow, all right.
Yeah, I was there for that. I've been here for too long.
And you just get up and walk out. You're like, I gotta go. So it looks great.
It looks really
To
good.
this day.
I think the thing that holds up the most, in my opinion, is that world and the way it's kind of structured, because you start at the bottom of the map, essentially, in New Los Angeles. That's what the hub is called. And you basically just like explore the map outward, and different hexagonal areas of the map you start to fill in by finding these satellites, and then there's other quests in each square of the map, and you want to try to like complete them all. And as you complete them, you get more experience, you get new quests, and then you can, once you hit like a certain level threshold, you can do the next story quest. Okay. I haven't finished it yet. I've only played like 20 hours. And eventually,
how long is it usually? Those games are like,
it's pretty long. I think the big thing with this one at the time was that there were mechs. I forget what the mechs are called. There's a specific name. But you could pilot these mechs, and you customize these mechs, but you don't get to that point until like 30, 40, 50 hours into the game, depending on how long things take you. The last thing I'll say about why this is very different than the other Xenoblade games is this has multiplayer.
Oh, okay.
This has like multiplayer cooperative missions, which I haven't been able to test in this version. But that was another reason why I was like, there's no way this game is coming to Switch. Like, I figured this game would be forgotten. Like, it would stay on the Wii U, because it's just like
it's a weird one.
It's so strange. Like, it doesn't quite fit. But I'm very happy it has made it, because now the entire Xenoblade, all the Xenoblade games are on Switch, which is pretty cool, I think.
You've reviewed 1?
I reviewed the definitive edition for 1 and 3.
So you reviewed 3.
And I was going to review this one, but I didn't have time for it.
Well, but you're here, and you know, you play a few hours of it. But like in any case, like I have not played these games. I've always had a mild interest. I see the hair and the collars and the big weapons, and I'm just like, yeah, maybe one day, or maybe not, probably not.
Doesn't seem like a
Kurt game.
A Kurt game.
But you did like the fact that it takes like 30, 40 hours to get to a mech seems like some esoteric, fucking nonsensical shit that I'd probably be like, I'm into it. I'd have done that.
I mean, I would say like, if you came up to me and you were like, which is Xenoblade Chronicles game I should play,
X?
I would say none.
Oh,
but cool. If you were like, that's not a good enough answer, I think I might say X, because I feel like that one, like, it starts out and there's like story, but I feel like the story kind of takes a back seat, at least based on what I played, because there's those moments of grinding between story missions.
Right.
I mean, there's still a story. I think it's pretty dull, and I think part of that is just because of how it's paced, because I do like Xenoblade Chronicles 1 story and 2 and 3 as prolonged as those stories are. There's like a good pace to them that I enjoy. It's like junk food, kind of.
Okay. Where do you think this fits, though, in the in how people kind of? I mean, does the Xenoblade trilogy? Are they necessary to play all 3 to like grasp the story? Can this be
X,
standalone?
I think X can be standalone.
Okay.
I mean, I think they all can be standalone in a way, but they do connect, and it is some harebrained, like.
Okay.
Yeah, it's. I mean, yeah, I won't get.
But in it, the Wii U, was like only sold like 11 million units or something like that, and like who knows how many units of the original Xenoblade Chronicles X it sold. But now this is on a platform that has over 100 million units, and now has a much broader audience to be able to dig into it, and probably people who have maybe most likely never played a Xenoblade game.
Yeah.
But you as a freak, no, you're not really a freak.
I'm a freak.
because you didn't play X.
Okay,
But now
yeah,
you are.
yeah.
Now you're Freak Factor, X Factor. But as a Xenoblade person who's like in the thick of it, how you feeling? Like as entering this as a fan who's played all three, who's reviewed 2 of them.
I don't love it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I don't love it. I think for me, the reason I enjoyed 1, 2, and 3, especially 1 and 3, is especially 3. The combat in 3 is so good, and I enjoyed that story quite a bit. 1, the combat is good, but it feels a little basic, and the story's I don't think quite as good as 3. There are moments I really like in that one. This one, I don't know. It doesn't have that same flair, and I think part of that has to do with the fact that it's 10 years old.
Yeah.
And I think coming off of 3, that like was the best version of that combat that they've done by far, in my opinion. Not even by far. I mean, I think 2 had really great combat too, but like
3
playing
is a new standard.
Yeah, playing 3 and then going back to this, and there are some like unique mechanics that this brings. Like you can like, most of your attacks are on cooldowns, but you have like a bar that lets you use them again, so you don't need to wait for the cooldown.
Okay.
So it has some unique mechanics that I think are kind of interesting, but
And you haven't even experienced the thing.
I haven't
on
even
the front cover
I
of
know.
that game.
I haven't even experienced the next. I'm gonna keep playing.
But I
'cause
do
I've-
find that really like there's something
It's
amazing
funny.
that's like it's like putting a car on the front cover of a game and you do not drive a car for at least 50 hours in the game, and then you finally it's like Grand Theft Auto, but you can't get in a car.
Yeah.
They're all locked. You
I
won't break the
I
windows.
remember-
You won't break the law.
I remember when Peter was reviewing it, he was really frustrated because he was like, the whole marketing was around these mechs. The cover has a mech.
I'm pretty
They're
sure
supposed
I've
to be
seen
mechs.
only mech gameplay.
Yeah,
Like, that's
when
all
they were
it
showing
is.
the game of mechs at the time, and then you play the game and you are on the ground for 50 hours. But I kind of like that, and it's why
that's
I'm
the
going
thing
to
I
keep
dig.
playing, because I do want to see how the mech stuff kind of comes into play
Let me see if your opinion changes maybe.
and see if my opinion changes.
Well, with that said, if you had to tell anybody who's not a Xenoblade, who has not played Xenoblade, not me, because you'd say don't play any of them. but if someone came to you who's like, I like big hair and collars and swords
Yeah.
that look like they're made out of plastic.
I tell him to get some help.
That's it. Thank you so much for being here, Jake Dekker, and talking about the Xenoblade games. I don't want to know what one anybody should start with at this point.
One definitive edition.
Oh,
for
well,
one.
you interrupted me for that one.
Yeah.
Anyways, you've been watching the GameSpot Show. This is Jake Dekker. I'm Curtin Davina. But before you go, I just want to let you know that GDC is happening this week in San Francisco, and we did a whole bunch of interviews with developers, like a ton of them. And a lot of that coverage is going to be coming out next week, so you should be watching anyways because it's the power block. But just know that, stay tuned. There's going to be cool stuff popping up on our YouTube channel next week. Anyways, that was it.